Alright traders, let's have a quick look at Russell and the Nasdaq. Let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, so Russell, the Russell market, you can see that pretty much a nothing day. Pretty much held where it is right now. You've got this overall area of resistance where the market's holding strong. I don't buy the upside movement. If you've seen my overall latest Dow Jones and S&P market update, you can see that's what's happened through there, right? Dow Jones, S&P are really weak. So does Russell. We are at all these areas of resistance. You know, guys, I don't care what the market does tonight. This is technically setting up, and I've seen this so many times set up, and then something comes out, and then boom, down the market goes. Bam, down the market goes. Bam, 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 wham, bam. Thank you, man. So guys, this is actually quite interesting to see the way things are setting up. It's so interesting to see where things are setting up. And it's like, the market doesn't do this for no reason, right? We are at this area of resistance where we are right now. You've got the resistance through there, had this ton of area resistance, and we're at that level now again. But remember, creating this lower peaks, lower troughs. So, and let's actually make that red. So you got that lower peak, and now forming another lower peak. I don't buy that. I really don't buy a upward movement. Now, hey, the market could come out and go whoosh, straight to the high side. But technically, guys, and I'm saying right now that this chart, the flow of the market, and now it's just really interesting. We're now forming these lower peaks, all the way down, and we're almost getting ready to where the stochastics are getting to the upside, or maybe they're getting ready to roll over here. I don't buy that, guys. It's like if you watch charts over time, you start to see that fundamentals wave in the overall flow of ups and downs. Let's go have a look at the Nasdaq here. So that's what the Russell's doing. The Nasdaq. So what happened with the Nasdaq? Nasdaq again, little upward movement. We get just a little upward movement, and really not much going on through there. And I would have expected a lot more follow through on the Nasdaq, but it was one of the most positive ones out there. But looking at the Nasdaq, what do we see once again? It's like, to me, this is just, look where the stochastics are. All right, so I know they get way up the top here, so I'm not really basing my analysis on that. But when you start to flow with this market and see what's going on here, I don't buy this piece of shite. Right? And for me, guys, my line in my sand is this here. We break this 4,800 level, guys, I'm loading up at even more put options on the QQQ. Right? I bought put options back earlier in the year. Oh, wait, let's actually bring up the QQQ here for a minute. So I bought, let me see here. So let me bring up my trendline tool. I bought put options, guys, around about, so it was this resistance level, so around about up here I bought, because it was this resistance level up here I was focusing on, and I went through this here, and then as you guys know, you can go back to my archives, I bought more put options here. But if you look at this whole QQQ, look where we're running back up to that area of resistance, right, which is running right back up to there, and we're getting the stochastics coming over, and then if you look at that, guys, but if you look at this here, we've got this lower peak, but this trough, lower trough, and then got this lower peak, and then another trough. We're right at that area of resistance. And we've got and everyone's focused on the jobs announcement today. I don't buy an upward move, guys. I really don't buy an upward move. But hey, I could be wrong, and that's the thing about news announcements. You don't know. But technically speaking, guys, flowing through with the market, I believe we're likely to get a downward move. And on the QQQ, mark my words, guys. Mark my words. On the QQQ, if we do get a close below, if I'll get up tomorrow morning, and if we start to get, if I see this market dropping below and it starts to close below this 106 level, this support level through here, Then to me, guys, if it starts to get below here, 106, or maybe even more, where is that right now? Let me take everything off the screen. Where it is right now, if it starts to get, what's that 2 or 3% drop to the downside and starts to get below that 106 level, that is key for me, guys. That is absolutely key for me. Looking at the weekly chart, this is obviously the weekly chart here. Lower peaks, lower troughs. Yeah, I don't buy upward movement at all, guys. I really don't. This market has been, especially this last couple of months, we've been slowly and flowing down. Now, guys, if you go back to my Nasdaq chart and we go back to, say, the weekly chart itself, this is, yeah, I don't buy this, guys. This weekly chart is really it's the whole bigger picture speaking to me. So I'm not buying an upward move. If we do get an upward move tonight, I think it's going to be short-lived and we reverse. That's just my opinion. I could be shot in the face with that opinion. But my analysis is saying what I'm telling you right now, guys. I do think overall we are likely to get some more downside movement based on what I'm seeing through here. You know, guys, I'm just, look at this flowing market, coming up, coming down. Yeah, I don't buy. Nah. The Nasdaq's not going to go here and start closing above 15,000. Nah, ain't going to happen. I am bearish on this thing all the way home. We get a close below this 4,800 level. That's just going to flow with the market. Why? Look at, again, guys, if you look at the peaks and troughs, double top, lower peak, lower peak. Look where the stochastics are, getting into that point where we could get a bit of a turning point. Now, you guys, you think that may be nothing, but that stochastic really does help you with turning points. It really does. Like, look back over here, right? You got that point. Now that point there was that point there. That didn't do much. And that point up there was that point up there, and that point there was that point there. And the market came down. That point was there. That point was there. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You guys have seen stochastics before. That's why I love stochastics. They can really help you. And if you start to have trend analysis, guys, if you start to have trend analysis in the mix of that, it starts to become quite powerful. And what am I talking about? I'm just simply talking about trend analysis. And look at this here, guys. Look back prior to 2016. All right. So before 2016, we started having in the late 2015, early 2016, you can see we actually started this downward trend. Yeah, that's the symbol there. But before, what do we have? We had a clear upward trend, right? You could put a moving average on there to say it's an uptrend or whatever. But guys, just by utilizing the stochastics, alone can be an amazing tool for entry. So if you look at this here, let me bring up this here. And let's just say, for example, we're only going to use big dips, and we're going to use dips and below the 20 and back above the 20. Well, that was that time there. That was that time through there. And you can see, guys, if I just bring up my little arrow, as soon as I started getting back above there, we had the turning point through there. That would have been a good entry point, right? Now, I know I'm gone back in time, but guys, this is how it works. That's the reason why I like using stochastics. The market ran back up. Look at the last time it got below there, came back above. That was that turning point through there. Will that be a nice trade? Yeah, sure. Come back down. That was that turning point through there. And where was that? That was straight up. That was through there, I think it was. Right through there. And then we went back up. We had this big dip, and guess what? And we had the stochastics there. Got slightly below and came back above. And then guess what? Bam, came back up. And then the market had this big drop down and didn't get below there, but came back up, came back down. Look at here. Came back down, came back above. Look at that. And then we had a rally out. So guys, by looking at this here, you can see we're in a clear upward trend, and by using the stochastics to help you buy the dips, it helps you find really good entry points. And guys, you know, and for so many years, I was just doing this, but just looking at the stochastics and looking at the trend and saying, bam, 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 bam. Thank you. So guys, if you're long-term bullish or long-term bearish in the market, whatever the big overall trend is, if you flow with that stochastic, you're likely to do well. All right, you're likely to do well. And so, like, you look at this here, the market's starting to flow down. All right, so the market's starting to flow down, and let's have a look at just recently here. So the market's starting to stair-step down. We're starting to get some really nice stair-step movement here. And let's just say we just use this overall trend here, and we start to see this was a sort of a this was starting to flow down. So we've got this big run down, and we had this big run back up. And again, we're just going to use this here. And I know this one, that point through there was that point right through there. Would have stopped you out. Okay, cool. All right, so you wouldn't have got in again because you would have just left it alone, left it alone, left it alone. The market dropped back down. So you know, if you use the rule, get stopped out once, don't use it again until we get another setup. Come back down. The last time it came back up there was that point through there, and then we got that point through there, and then the market fell off through there. Now the market's rallying back up again, almost getting back above that level, and we're almost getting a turning point. Why would you think something else is going to happen? It's just simple, right? It's just really, really, really simple. Guys, trading the market is simple. Whether a big, good jobs announcement comes out, you know what? Maybe a jobs announcement does come out and this thing rallies up, and then suddenly we start to get a turning point. Guys, if we are continuing, mark my words, if we are continuing to make this lower peak, and we're still making another lower peak, and we start to get a bit of a turn, and the stochastics start to turn, mark my words, we're going down like that, and we're going to be penetrating these levels through here. We're going to penetrate through that. We're going to slice and dice, and we're going to come back down, and we're going to be testing, and even having a bit of a kiss on that 4,300 level, and I believe more downward movement from there. It's all in the charts, right, guys? It is all in the charts, and if you look at that, look at the trend analysis, and look at the flow of the markets. And guys, if you don't believe this works, then I'm going to go back to Apple here for a minute. If you don't believe this works, then look at this here. All right, just look at recently, and I was doing overall long-term analysis here, and so this is what, and you guys know, right? I actually, where that big dark red dot is where I actually bought put options on this thing. And so you can see what actually happened. We had this big long-term trend line coming down. Let's actually make that thick. Like, bring arrow, that one there, I'm going to make that real thick. All right, so we've got this big long-term trend line coming down. We've got this overall long-term, this is a support and resistance line coming through here. So I knew that level through there was likely to be resistance, somewhere around about there. I was looking at my stochastics, and I was actually seeing a bit of divergence. That was giving me a bit more confidence to get in as well too. And then the market fell over. You're like, oh yeah, John, you're lucky. But what happened here, guys? We created a lower trough, right? So we created a lower trough, then the market ran up. So if the market ran up, then guess what happened? Oh, look, the stochastics there. Wait for a turning point. And the turning point was, let's actually just draw a line. The turning point started happening through there. So if you went short and you just held on, would you be done okay? Right? So what's going on right now? Right? We've had this little move up. Look where the stochastics are. A little bit more move up. If we start to get a bit more turning point, start to there, and the stochastics go up a little bit more, and then they start to come back down, what's likely to happen? We're likely to penetrate that 90 level, and we're likely to go more on the downside. It really is that simple, guys. So nothing works 100% of the time, but if you start to have good trend analysis, now yes, you would need a type of entry bar and all that sort of stuff. You just won't use that to go short. This is a basic setup I'm talking about here. But a lot of the times, guys, when you start to see this sort of action where you get the market closing above in a downward trend, if you get the market closing above the 20, closing above this 80 line, and then start to close below. As you can see, that was when the market started closing below. Right there was the market right here, and then as you can see, the market as you continue down. Guys, this is using probability on your side for this, and to really help you. You can see here, guys, that you had this point through there, and that point right there was that point right there. It didn't close below. That was that close below right there. And sometimes, sometimes you might, and that point was right that point through there. So maybe through here somewhere was when the stochastic started coming down, and we had a bit of a drop down. It ran back above, just got back above the 80, and then turned back down. And look what, and that was that point through there. So guys, if all you did was say, okay, this market's trending down now, I'm just going to use the peaks and I'm going to get into it, and all you did was just maybe continue just to short this all along, would you be doing okay right now? Just using that one strategy. So anyway, guys, that's an update on the Nasdaq and the Russell, but I threw in a bit of a teaching technique for you guys to watch out for what's actually happening in the markets right now. I'm not going to BS you here. Trading is hard. Over my 10 years of trading, I've learned some amazing systems and strategies, and I've put it all in my brand new Grab the Markets by the Balls course, and I'm giving you 100% free access. This whole course is 12 videos long and almost 10 hours of the best systems and strategies that I know. Click on the image below now to get 100% free access right now.